This tutorial deals with the second and most important process available in VitaminBW, triple tone. Compared to single tone, it is a more demanding process for your computer, but it is still very easy to implement and powerful. Basically, it produces an image which is based on 3 distinct runs of single tone. The first consideration is that you don't have to worry about the black and white filters. With triple tone, whatever choice you make has no effect. The resulting image will always contain 3 versions based on known, which means no filter is used, blue, and orange. These settings cannot be changed, so you may as well leave known as a choice. You still can choose if you want a default or boost conversion and a tint, though. For this image, I will pick default and warm, respectively. Click on triple tone and see what happens. The Layers panel may seem very complicated, but it really isn't. It contains 3 different groups identified by the color of the filter they represent. From the bottom, no filter, blue, and orange. Each group is exactly like the one we've seen in the single tone tutorial. Since we've chosen a tint, there are 3 layers per version. Also, this is the maximum number of layers that VitaminBW will create. For now, let's ignore the layer structure inside the groups. We simply consider the versions as independent objects. As a default, the blue and orange groups are invisible and you see the result of the unfiltered group only. If you make the groups visible, you will see the versions they contain. Each group is set at 100% opacity, so depending on what you make visible, you will see one version at a time. Notice that the 2 topmost groups have a layer mask which controls their transparency. The big red cross means that the mask is deactivated, so it doesn't influence the visibility of the layer. Since the group masks are black, activating either makes the group transparent. Remember, in masks, black hides and white reveals. Here's a suggested 2-step workflow to create the final picture. 1. Examine each version separately to decide which are the best parts of each you want to use. You can, of course, decide to use one version only, blend 2, or use all 3. 2. Use group opacity and layer masks to blend the finished version together. Let's apply the workflow to this particular image. Step 1. We start from the unfiltered image at the bottom and compare it with the blue version. This has better contrast in the water and, most of all, fantastic definition in the foliage. These are candidate areas we want to keep from this version, unless the orange version has something better to offer. Let's check. We activate the orange version. The blue wins in the water and the foliage, but orange is better in the sky and the rushes. Is it also better than the unfiltered image? Let's check. We hide the blue version and compare orange and unfiltered. The orange is slightly better. Final verdict. Start with the unfiltered version, add foliage and water from the blue, add sky and rushes from the orange. This is the end of step 1. Step 2. We start from the unfiltered version and activate the blue group. We want to add the foliage and water from this one, so we shift-click on the mask to activate it. The mask is black and makes the group transparent. We select a large soft brush and white as foreground color and start painting on the mask. The water, zoom in a bit, the foliage. Now we turn to the orange group. We make it visible and activate the mask so that it becomes transparent. We want to add the sky and the rushes, so again we paint in white on it. This is a very quick painting, of course. Let's see what we have obtained. This is the unfiltered version. The contribution from the blue version in the water and the foliage. And finally, the sky and rushes from the orange version. Finished. It's worth remembering that we haven't fully exploited triple tone's flexibility yet. We have neglected the layers structure inside the groups. We still have the chance, if we want, to tweak the content of each group exactly as explained in the tutorial on single tone. The final result is both an improvement and an interpretation. We would like to show how versatile the process is when it comes to interpretation. I've already prepared a version of this beauty shot so that I can easily show the result. This is the unfiltered version, this is the blue version, and this is the orange version. I find the exotic character of the blue version amazing, but maybe it is too much to use 100% of it. The eyes and part of the skin are very good in the orange version instead. My strategy was to blend the blue version into the original at 50%, painting in black on the layer mask to keep the lips from the unfiltered version, because they would become too dark otherwise. Then I revealed the eyes from the orange version and used a 50% grey feel on the forehead to give it more light. The whole group was then set at 60% opacity. The blend of such different versions, all very good in themselves, can literally change the character of the shot. This is the last image in this tutorial and also the most colorful we've seen so far. The standard triple tone process yields 3 versions. This is the unfiltered version, this is the blue, and this is the orange. All 3 have very strong points and weak points. After some inspection, I decided to use the blue version in darken blend mode. It brings in some amazing detail in some critical areas, but it makes the picture a bit too dark. The orange version does the opposite. Although a low opacity would have been enough, I finally decided to use a delicate mask to give it an even better finish. Here's the final result, which can be compared to the unfiltered version. It looks more nocturnal, as it should be, but also very luminous and yet detailed where needed. This is, of course, only one out of the infinite versions you can produce, so you may have a different idea and it would be very easy to change the character of the photograph because nothing is destructive in this process. This is why we claim that triple tone boosts your creativity. It provides 3 different very interesting versions, often unexpected, of a single image, ready to be blended into each other accordingly to your taste and vision.